How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we have a collab what if, which is going to be detailing how different the story of Dragon Ball would be if Goku received Bardock's Foresight. Like I said earlier, this is a collaboration what if, featuring Lagg's what ifs.
Hey guys, Lagg here. Thank you Damon for letting me come to this channel. I am very excited to do this collab with you. Let's get started. After Bardock gets back from his last mission and is all healed up, he heads home on his way and he watches an image flicker through his mind. Frieza killing him and destroying Planet Vegeta flashes through his eyes, and he starts asking around about Frieza. Turns out Frieza has heard of the Super Saiyan legend and fears them. This adds up. He can see the future. Well, at least he thinks. He heads over to another person to confirm it, and he explains that the Frieza soldiers have been asking around about the Super Saiyan God and the Super Saiyan legend. Bardock immediately rushes home. Instead of walking up to the original, he rushes towards her and tells her everything about what happened. Gine is shocked. Gine asks what are they going to do with Kakarot, and he explains about he will give Kakarot some power that will let him see the future. And for safekeeping, they will send him to Earth, or Earth, like in the original. A thought flickers through his mind as he sees the image flicker through his mind as he remembers how he was hit on the neck and he was given this curse, but it has been very helpful. Bardock opens a small pod that Kakarot was sitting in. He turns Kakarot around and gently nudges him on the neck, holding it there and transferring his power to him. Kakarot gets all dizzy and falls back asleep. As usual, Bardock goes and steals a pod with Gine to send Kakarot off after he has transferred his power to him. Kakarot wakes up in a small sand pod before feeling a strange itch in the side of his neck. The pod is placed down and he's confused, just like the original, and he puts his hand out to his pod and to see his parents. This time Bardock is sure that he is right, but still says if he is wrong, he will come after him. It flies off as Kakarot is knocked around and goes unconscious and heads towards Earth. Meanwhile, Bardock goes down like a Saiyan warrior and tries to beat Frieza, but there is no hope. He sees one more glimmer of Goku turning into a Super Saiyan and fighting Frieza. Oh Kakarot, you'll make us proud. As Bardock turns down, but nothing to ashes. Kakarot heads to Earth to his new home, and after a few years, Goku sees himself falling and hitting his head, and he wakes up thinking it was a dream. But that day, he hits his head and becomes the lovable kid that he is today. Like in the original, Goku trains as usual, but one day he comes across an image of his favourite food that his grandpa is making, so then snaps out of it and realizes that he's down at the bottom of the hill. How could he smell it from up there? He walks up and he sees his favourite food and can smell it, and he looks through the window. He walks in and says, that's funny. I saw that image in my head. Oh, that's strange. I guess you might have been hungry. Goku's stomach rumbles. Oh yeah, that too. The two eat lunch. As Goku finishes up, his head shows him another picture of a tree falling down right in front of the door. Goku had frozen and Grandpa Gohan asks him, "Are you okay, Goku?" Goku snaps out of it. Yeah, my head showed me an image of this tree falling down right in front of the house, like right at the door. As he says that, a tree falls down. Grandpa Gohan is shocked. That is strange. Grandpa Gohan mutters, and he's very confused about the tree that fell down. He's very curious and wonders who can help him. He then thinks of his old master Roshi, but explains that they'll have to head off quickly since it is lunch. Goku nods as Grandpa Gohan goes to the back room and grabs a small capsule box and throws out a car. Just an older model. They head down to the island when it's just reaching about the afternoon, probably roughly 3 o'clock. They reach the island as Gohan and Goku see a rowboat. Goku picks it up and throws it in the ocean as instructed. They grab the paddlers and start paddling. Well, that looks fun. Can I join in? Grandpa Gohan laughs as Goku pedals away pretty fast and they head to the island in no time. Roshi is sitting down and doing who knows what and hears a noise of water. Sticks his head out and sees two figures paddling toward his island. What could they want? He gets out and takes a closer look and sees his old student. Well, if it isn't my old student, how have you been, Gohan? Master, I have been very good. Whoa, I saw that guy in my head like 2 minutes ago, exclaims Goku. Roshi is confused, and that's when Gohan brings up the topic of Goku's curse. Roshi explains, and he grabs a book and does some research and asks a few more questions. Goku explains everything that happened today. Well, kid, it seems like you have foresight. This is very rare. I've never seen anyone have such an ability quite like it. Now, you two must be exhausted. Why don't you stay for dinner? I'll whip up a meal with Turtle. Grandpa Gohan offers to help, and the two cook. while Turtle actually goes outside with Goku. Turtle and Goku start talking and chatting as they walk around the island, as Goku's eyes flicker blue and he freezes again and sees what appears to be Master Roshi charging up a Kamehameha and firing it towards a beast. Goku is quite indeed shocked by this appeal, but then snaps out of it and thinks, hey, that looks cool. Now I'm gonna try it. And as usual, Goku goes Kamehameha! A small blue energy beam comes out, and Roshi sees this blue light flicker and is confused. Oh, kid, did you just fire what I think you just fired? It was my signature move, the Kamehameha. How did you do that? I just saw you firing it in my head. You're firing it at some black thing. Roshi is confused, but he shrugs this off. Say in the future, kid, you've got potential. Why aren't you training to me when you're older? Goku nods at this idea, as the two head off back inside and they talk over dinner. Goku remembers he left his power pole outside and heads back to go grab it as he looks at the full moon for the first time forever. Grandpa Gohan start eating dinner and laughing, and then they realize Goku isn't there, and then they hear this tremble noise on the island. What could that be? Goku quite indeed has gone bananas, and looking at the full moon has triggered his Great Ape transformation, and everybody is confused. Holy crap, this kid turned into a giant ape! Gohan explains that this has never been seen before, but his tail is his weak spot. Roshi takes that in mind and heads off and grabs him by the tail, and then hits him and grabs it and squeezes his tail, weakening Goku. He grabs and fires a Kamehameha, burning off Goku's tail. Goku is unconscious, and Gohan grabs him, picks him up, and puts him in the top room of Kame House. Roshi and Gohan are confused at this new transformation, and yes, this is the night Grandpa Gohan would have died in the original. He is up the room while the two quietly eat dinner, and as morning starts, Goku wakes up confused and only with a blanket. As the morning sun rises, Goku wakes up, and with a pair of uniform resembling the turtle helmet, stands right beside him. Goku is confused, but gets up and stretches as he walks down, and he asks what happened, that he fell asleep, and the two say yes he did, and Goku falls over the stairs and realizes his tail is missing. The two will explain what happened, and they just say that his tail must have fallen off. Goku just shrugs this off and is a bit upset, but oh well.
We pick up the morning after the Great Ape attack, and Goku is adjusting to not having a tail while training with Roshi. Gohan decided that after the Great Ape attack, it would probably be a safe bet to stick around with Roshi, just in case something like that happens again. Goku is subjected to the regular training with Roshi, like in canon, but most of the tasks Goku is given aren't exactly surprising to him. As you can see, most of them appear in his head right before Roshi assigns them. Once training with Roshi is over for the day, the two work with Goku and try to get a grip over his Foresight and see how it's affecting Goku. Goku for the most part actually doesn't really mind his Foresight. He thinks it's pretty cool how he can see stuff right before it happens. Gohan did raise him to be happy-go-lucky, so he's not exactly surprised, but still checks it out because he wants the best for his grandson. That night though, Goku has visions in his sleep. He can see a bald man getting murdered, and somebody resembling him getting a hand shoved through his chest. Goku snaps awake and feels his chest, feeling it in real life too. Goku is confused, as when he sees the future, it normally isn't very far in the future, maybe like a few minutes, or an hour at max. But if this really was a vision, why is he seeing that far ahead? Goku tells Roshi and Gohan about it the next morning, and they don't have any explanation, except maybe his power of Foresight is getting stronger with time. Goku thinks that would be awesome to see how he's like when he's older. He just hopes that he won't get a hole in his chest. Training continues for about a year, and over this time, Goku has had many different future visions that surprisingly help him in his training. Along with the Kamehameha, he's also learned a strange move called the Wolf Fang Fist, and a Masenko move that he saw some strange kid use. This one surprised Roshi, because he recognized it as a move used by the demon folk. If Goku saw a vision of this move, does that mean that King Piccolo is coming back? No, there's no way. Roshi asks Goku if he's seen a big green man in any of his visions at all. Goku thinks about it, and he does recall seeing him up in the air, alongside a big green guy. Hearing this kind of freaks Roshi out, realizing that maybe that means that King Piccolo will someday return, even when him and Shen did their best to hide the rice cooker. Roshi decides that evidently it's not safe on the ocean floor where he hid it, so he takes out his old submarine and ventures back to the location where he hid the rice cooker. Goku and Gohan continue their training, and on this day, Goku learned to sense ki, which is something Roshi knew how to do, and once Goku brought up something about it, Roshi was able to easily teach this move. Goku senses Roshi's return, and he enters the house with the rice cooker containing King Piccolo. Roshi explains to Goku and Gohan that he's going to bury the rice cooker underneath his island to make sure that Piccolo is always contained, as he knows the cooker will be safe with him now. Goku continues his training and gets a vision one day of a girl arriving, and eventually she makes her way to the island. This girl, Bulma, explains that she's searching for the Dragon Balls and would like the ball around Roshi's neck. Of course, the process of her getting Roshi's Dragon Ball still goes down as normal, except this time she has her panties on, so it's not that bad. Before she heads off though, Gohan suggests that Goku go along with her as well, so he can get a feel for the real world. Goku is kinda nervous to go out in the real world, but it sounds like it's going to be a nice adventure, so he agrees to go along with Bulma. Goku and Bulma's hunt for the Dragon Balls would begin, and things would go much easier for our heroes than they did in canon. For example, Goku's Foresight would help him realize who Oolong was right away, and meeting Yamcha would go extremely easy for Goku, due to him training with Roshi much earlier. I'd say there's a pretty good chance that Goku might actually kill Yamcha, since the fight would be so easy for him. But let's just say that Goku foresaw Yamcha being his friend, so he decided to spare him. At Fire Mountain, Goku could possibly use his Masenko to blow away the mountain himself, and get the Dragon Ball super simple. Goku might also foresee Pilaf leading them the wrong way in his castle, or Pilaf blowing up his car, which would prevent them from ever being captured by Pilaf, and they defeat, and this time I'm going to say, kill Pilaf and the others here, not having to deal with them, and getting all the Dragon Balls. Once Shenron is finally summoned, the group don't exactly know what they're going to wish for. Bulma already sees the perfect boyfriend in Yamcha, while Yamcha doesn't need to wish away his fear of girls, because he has Bulma now. In the wait for a wish, Goku decides to speak up, and he asks Shenron on why he has this ability called Foresight, as it's very confusing for him. Shenron explains to Goku that his father got this ability from a race called the Kanassans. His father then decided to give it to him, hoping it would give him the edge he needed in defeating the galactic tyrant known as Frieza. Goku is then about to ask who's Frieza, but Shenron granted Goku's wish of knowledge, and he flies off. Bulma asks Goku how he feels about this, and how apparently Goku is destined to defeat a terrible tyrant known as Frieza. And Goku says he's completely fine. This sounds like a good challenge, and he's willing to defeat this tyrant and make his father proud, wherever he is. Goku flies off from Bulma and the others, returning to Gohan and Roshi. Goku explains to the two that he managed to make a wish on the Dragon Balls, and he found out how he got his Foresight, and what his destiny is in fighting Frieza. Gohan and Roshi are pretty confused by this statement, but hey, they're happy to help Goku in any way that they can. Goku told the two as well that he got a few visions of him training alongside a weird blue man and a small cat guy. Roshi recognizes the small cat guy that Goku is talking about as Korin, and he decides that maybe now's the time to take Goku to Korin.
Now, we last left off when Goku was heading to Korin Tower to go under Korin's training. Roshi takes him there alongside Gohan. Goku and the gang head to Korin Tower and meet the locals like usual. Goku and Roshi climb Korin Tower with little difficulty. Roshi's a little slower, but we cut him some slack for his age. Roshi introduced Goku to Korin, but Goku laughs and said he saw him in a dream. Before Goku starts his training, Roshi gives him the Nimbus so he can head back in 7 months' time so he can join the World Martial Arts Tournament. Goku is hyped and accepts the challenge, and starts his training, and knows thanks to his Foresight. Now, Roshi and Gohan head back to their island, and meet Bulma and Yamcha there, along with Pua and Oolong. But there's also a new figure, a small boy named Krillin, with a small bag. Yamcha requests that he can train, and Roshi accepts this, seeing his potential, thanks to Gohan. Krillin, however, bribes him with the same as usual. Bulma gives him a slap on the head for the dirty magazines. He's pretty pissed off, but Bulma will get over it. She stares at Yamcha and tells him to not read those. Grandpa, Gohan, Roshi, and Yamcha all laugh, with Krillin rubbing his sore head. Now, with the two ready to train, Grandpa Gohan and Roshi train the two new students, and they train hard ever because they saw the fruits of Goku's training. Now, with Goku, like usual, Goku was training a few months, climbing up and down Korin Tower. As usual, he completes the water training in 3 days, but doesn't drink it because he saw from his Foresight that the water does nothing. Goku would normally be demotivated, but he thought he might get something else out of it. He didn't, but he realizes he has a new ability. His new reactions and anticipating movement by breathing. For the last 3 months though, he has nothing to do. He sleeps one night and has another vision. A bald man, the same guy who was killed by the green alien demon looking thing, throwing a disc towards a giant. Goku sees the same similar green person shooting a hole through his chest, while with another person. Goku wakes up and feels his chest like last time, but there's nothing there. Goku's a little bit worried, but he doesn't mind. Like usual, Goku tries to learn the destructive disc, but can only throw a half-size one because of the amount of energy he can output. Kinda like the Masenko, but since it's smaller, since he can't put out that much energy. Goku attempts the other attack, but can't seem to know how to do it. He only saw it go through him. Oh well, he'll find out one day, and he'll be happy to learn it. As the last set of months pass, Goku finishes up his training and learns how to throw the disc now. Pretty easy. Goku hops on his Nimbus and says goodbye. Krillin was about to give him a bag of something, which we all know what it is, but he doesn't take it, because he was running late. Goku doesn't know the way back, but he knows because he can sense people's energy, like we discussed in the second part. Goku's a few moments away Kami House, and he surfs on the ocean with the Nimbus, having some fun. He sees in the distance as a giant fish jumps over in the water. As he lands on Roshi's island, Goku is greeted by the usual gang, and one extra, Krillin. Goku shakes his hand, but then gets a flashback seeing Krillin dying. He shakes his head because they're not wearing the same uniform as the one that died or he saw die. They all prepare to head off to the martial arts tournament island. They're all there and roster up as usual, with Yamcha added into the team thanks to him training a lot earlier than canon. When he fought Goku, he saw his training was tremendous and wanted to gain that kind of power on his own. So, with here, everybody tries to see the roster as Oolong turns into the ladder and Bulma climbs up, whole kind of thing. Except here is where Yamcha beats Bacterian. Now you're thinking, how would that happen? Well, Yamcha had learned how to do the Kamehameha in training because Goku used it, and so he attempts it in training and succeeds. So, blindly, while dizzy from all the stinky smell, him trying to blow away the smell with his hands, he forms a Kamehameha and blasts it towards Bacterian, knocking him out of the ring. None of the other fights really get affected by this, so everything happens as usual, with Goku facing all of his opponents and Roshi facing none. The gang wonder where Roshi is, but Gohan makes an excuse saying he's off doing the usual stuff. Everybody goes, about Roshi. Good old Master Roshi. Since all the fights go as usual, now we're down to Krillin versus Yamcha. And this fight, Krillin adapts, and they both fire a Kamehameha, seeing that Yamcha could do it. Kinda like in the next World Martial Arts Tournament in the canon story. But the Wolf Bang Fist gets the better of Krillin. Now, all the fights after that continue as usual, with Bulma laughing at the sight of her boyfriend is winning. Everyone's attention is caught by the infamous Jackie Chun. They're all confused, such a great martial artist is there, and they thought they would be the best. Now, before Goku goes to fight his opponent, his tail magically comes back. Goku laughs at his idea that now he has his tail back, and he's a little bit stronger. Since Yamcha's in the tournament, he takes Krillin's place and fights Jackie Chun. But with no avail, Roshi can see all his moves and knows all, and he did train against Goku with the Wolf Fang Fist a couple of years back, so he has experience with that too. Yamcha's surprised he could move and dodge his famous Wolf Fang Fist, and as he does, he pushes him out of the ring with a powerful palm strike. Yamcha gets up after the huge strike with his battle, and gets up and brushes the dirt off. They bow and walk out of the ring, but while he's walking out of the ring, he reminds him how similar this Jackie Chun reminds him of Master Roshi. Goku laughs and said he saw Yamcha losing. Yamcha frowns at this, and walks out to his girlfriend Bulma. While he was laughing, Goku sees his Foresight snap through his eyes, electric bolt charging straight towards him. Goku shakes his head, and then he sees nothing. Attack from his opponent, Jackie Chun. He makes himself aware of what's gonna happen. The two stand up to the ring and bow their heads into their fighting stance. Then the gong rings and the battle begins. This time the fight doesn't go as usual because the two head off with their basic martial arts attacks, and they're somewhat equal. Goku has the upper hand because the drunken fighting style doesn't work like the usual. Goku's be able to anticipate his movements thanks to his training with Krillin. Goku tries to counter with a Wolf Fang Fist, but Jackie Chun saw it coming and picks him up and throws him. Goku swings around the palm tree with his tail and heads back and tries to hit him. When he steps aside, Goku gains his ground, but he sees a Foresight image of him being zapped and then the whole moon, and then him staring at the moon, and then everything going all black for some reason. Jackie Chun tries to kick Goku, but Goku dodges out of the way just in time. Goku gets back up and throws a Destructo Disc, trying to hit him or the ground underneath him to slide him off. Jackie Chun jumps over this and prepares his Lightning Bolt attack, where Goku dodges, seeing this in his foresight, and thanks to anticipating his opponent's movements with their breathing. Goku gets another vision of what seems to be a figure looking like a bigger version of him getting stomped on by a giant ape, and this stuns Goku and leaves him wide open, ready for Jackie Chun to leave the finishing blow, knocking him down and out of the ring, unconscious. It's not long before Goku gets back up, and he thinks about what he just saw. Could the figure be Yamcha, and could the giant ape be him? He puts two and two together, but realizes that the uniform that he's noticed hasn't been seen at all, like nobody has worn that. But Goku thinks about the moment when he blacked out, of the moment of his foresight. It reminds him when he looked at the moon and blacked out all of a sudden. He asks his grandpa about the giant ape that he saw in his vision, and that Grandpa Gohan was shocked. Grandpa Gohan explains everything to Goku, with Goku all shooken up about this information, that if he looks at the moon he can transform a giant ape. He explains that if he looks at the moon he's a danger because he could kill everyone. Goku is now worried about his newfound power, but Grandpa Gohan goes up to him and comforts him as they all prepare to leave the arena and head back to Kame House.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for having me back on the channel, Lagg. Without further ado, let's dive straight back into this scenario. We begin this part with Goku beginning his training under Gohan to learn to control his Grade 8 form. After discovering what this form was at the tournament, he can't let himself go out of control like that ever again, especially by what he's seen in his visions. If he ever turns into the Grade 8 and goes out of control, he'd be endangering the lives of so many people, but he doesn't want all that power to just go to waste either. Like it or not, this power is just a part of him, and he can't just ignore it forever. He might as well find a way to harness his power in his base form. That way he can fully utilize it. He knows it can be done, as he's seen a version of this power being used in a vision. It seems that somebody else is out there just like him, and he managed to get this power as well, and he wants to be able to use it too. Plus, Gohan is the one most familiar with the Grade 8 transformation, so the two begin to work together to help Goku access his power by himself. Now, with Goku staying at Kami House and training with Gohan, this leaves him out of the Red Ribbon Army's hunt for the Dragon Balls for the most part. The Red Ribbon, without Goku in their way, managed to gather most of the Dragon Balls very easily, all except for one, the 4-star Dragon Ball, as this is the ball that Bora possesses and won't give up easily. Bora is able to fight off the common soldiers with no difficulty, and General Blue is sent in to fight off Bora. Blue and Bora fight it out for the ball, and while I personally think that Bora is physically stronger than Blue, Blue has the ability to freeze people in place, and I think that's what's going to be Bora's downfall in this fight, which leads to Bora being defeated by Blue, and the Dragon Balls being returned to the Red Ribbon HQ. Now, the Red Ribbon Army manages to have all 7 of the Dragon Balls, and the entirety of the army gathers around while Commander Red summons Shenron. Everybody listens in, waiting to hear the wish for world domination, except that wish never comes. Instead, Commander Red wishes to be taller than Officer Black. The entirety of the Red Ribbon Army is in complete shock over this. That was the wish? This is what they've been sacrificing for this whole time? The whole army goes in to attack Red, and let's just say that that isn't a pretty scene. Once Red has been dealt with, Officer Black is then appointed to the new commander, and in 1 year the army is going to try again to collect the Dragon Balls and become the rulers of this world. Back with our usual gang, they continue to train for the next year, and in this time period, Goku has managed to harness the power of the Great Ape into his base form, managing to access the Wrathful form. With this insane power-up, Goku's power, speed, and agility have increased by tenfold, and he is now currently the strongest on the planet. Goku's power level after all the training he's gotten is around about 150, so with a 10 times multiplier added to that, Goku's strongest power level now is 1500. Of course, Goku still doesn't have full control of this form, so he's not completely overpowered that bad. During this year of training too, Goku gets many bad visions of this Red Ribbon Army taking over the planet, and enslaving his friends. These visions come a lot, and kind of freak Goku out to the point where he realizes that he needs to stop these guys before something really bad happens. Goku asks his grandfather and Roshi about the location of the Red Ribbon Army, and the two have heard about how dangerous and evil these guys are. They are totally willing to help out take them all down. So this time, it's not only Goku who's going to destroy the army. He's got Gohan, Roshi, Krillin, and Yamcha here as well to help him out. And when these guys arrive at the base to infiltrate, the army stands no chance whatsoever. Goku doesn't even need to transform in his wrathful form to deal with these guys, and with all of these fighters working together, everybody in the army is taken out. And since this is almost a year after the events of the original Red Ribbon raid, there's an extra person at the HQ, Dr. Gero, and Gohan manages to apprehend him. The whole army is either dead or arrested, and once they're all locked up, Goku gets more visions of the exact same events where the Red Ribbon took over the world. But this time, they're a good ending. The world is peaceful, and the army is locked up behind bars. Goku tells his group that he thinks they all just changed the future, meaning that Goku's visions aren't the end-all and be-all. He can really change the future if he actually tries. With this revelation, Goku is pretty happy to hear that Krillin's death he foresaw might not actually be the end of him. 2 more years pass, and the whole group is getting insanely powerful. With Goku's wrathful form, Krillin and Yamcha become much more powerful as well, and they've been training themselves up to reach that level. Since they all had about 2 years of training with this powerful ally, I'm pretty sure that these two would eventually reach the level, or just be under Goku. Meaning, Krillin and Yamcha are in the 900s range, and could curb stomp even King Piccolo. Goku hasn't been slacking either, and with this training, Goku in his own base form has reached around 1500. So stacking the wrathful form up here means that Goku can reach an insane level of 15,000. So these 20-second tournament arc characters could match Raditz, and in Goku's case, match Vegeta. So let's just say that the tournament goes very well for our heroes. And Tien doesn't even get to make it to the final round. Of course, Goku foresaw Tien becoming their friend in the future, and tries his best to get Tien on their side. Showing off his powers to Tien is a huge benefit, as Tien realizes how much stronger he can become while training with the Turtle School. So after the amazing final round of Goku vs Yamcha, the group head back to Kame House with Tien and Chaozu in tow. And since King Piccolo is buried under Roshi's house, there's no way of him being released, so there isn't going to be a King Piccolo arc here. Which is strange for Goku, as he thought he foresaw himself meeting some sort of green guy. Meaning, there's a large gap of peacetime for training, and becoming more and more powerful.
Now, we start today's adventure with Goku, in canon, goes to Korin Tower, asking if he can train some more. But Goku's mind blown that his training has finished, as he takes the power pole and heads up to the lookout, but this time, tiny bit earlier. As Goku climbs up the power pole, he sees a vision. 2 beings, one wearing a turban and the other holding a staff, which is like Korin. So he climbs up later and finds out that both the beings he just saw are right there, right in front of him. Goku doesn't attack Kami because he hasn't seen Piccolo yet, and he hasn't caused any problems. Goku asks if he can train under Kami so he can get stronger, and Kami sees there's no need to train him, and Goku asks why. Kami says Piccolo hasn't showed up at all, and Goku says he's under Master Roshi's house in a rice cooker, and the evil demon is sealed. Kami asks why he would do such a thing, and Goku says he saw King Piccolo and his army of demons while back in his Foresight. Kami is interested that a being not of this earth can see the future, and Goku replies that his father gave it to him to beat a galactic tyrant known as Frieza. Kami is shocked, but doesn't know who Frieza is. Goku says he will need to get stronger and test his strength at the World Martial Arts tournaments against his friends. Kami says he will train him for his destiny, as Goku trains is the same way, although with a few extra days. Now, Goku learns how to harness life energy or ki to better his attacks, or better yet, he knows how to utilize the Akari form way better. Goku also trains way more effectively than normal. He managed to spend 12 hours in the time chamber. That's right, 6 months. Goku is very strong now, and he already had a head start. Another thing to add is Kami doesn't offer Goku the role of Guardian because he knows Goku's destiny is to beat Frieza. Goku is a little older, but it doesn't change much. Maybe he might be a little more buff. Well, that's thanks to his Akari form. One time, while Goku was in the hyperbolic time chamber, he's exhausted from all his training and goes to get some rests. Then, he has another vision/dream. Goku sees himself fighting 3 people. One man with spiky hair, the other man a white creature and he's wrapped in golden aura, and the other one, Goku is fighting a golden warrior with golden spiky hair, the same golden aura that he has. Goku gets up as he's physically and mentally drained and heads out of the hyperbolic time chamber. He gets out and gets some well-deserved rest. Goku has another vision. He sees a figure who shot the Masenko running up to his shoulder, looking at an older version of himself, but it looked like he was asleep. But then he says the words, "Goku is dead." Goku wakes up shocked to feel his heart. but then realizing that Goku knows that he can change these events, and he will change them, and that puts his mind at ease. Goku gets up and continues training the next day. Meanwhile, all the Z fighters are training together. Tien has caught up pretty quickly and has had some huge gains. Yamcha and Krillin are very strong in terms of physical strength, but Tien isn't far behind because Tien can utilize Ki more effective than Yamcha and Krillin. Yamcha and Krillin have a power level of 2000 while Tien has a power level of 1500 and Chaozu has a power level of 800. One day, Krillin and Yamcha are fighting as the fight gets more intense as small shockwaves move the sand and rustle the water. And Chaozu sees something buried under the sand. Roshi is inside doing, well, you can guess what he's doing. Chaozu grabs the rice cooker and opens it because he wants to see if it works. Since Chaozu is a cook, he's actually a really good cook. Then he opens it up, not knowing the sticker's there, and awakens a giant figure known as King Piccolo. Chaozu screams as Tien rushes over to see what's going on. It was a giant green man. Tien goes in and kicks, sending him flying. Meanwhile, Goku was training Kami as Kami falls to the ground in shock. Kami sees that Piccolo is back and Goku goes oh, as Goku sees a vision of a giant green man with red eyes looking like Kami except evil. Kami explains the whole situation and his past to Goku. Goku rushes down to find where King Piccolo is. Tien beats King Piccolo to a pulp considering the massive gains after a year of training at a turtle school. Roshi walks out in horror but then sees Tien was strong enough to beat the Demon King. Goku arrives. Goku stops to talk to the gang as they notice how strong Goku is. Goku laughs as he powers up and he is glowing in a light sun yellow aura. Roshi and everyone is blown away and Goku says he can control his Akari form or the Izari form, but they don't call it that. I don't know what Goku would call it at this point. We'll just refer to the Akari form. In this form he is even stronger now. He could basically take on anyone who comes at him. Goku powers down and asks for where Piccolo is. Yamcha laughs and points his thumb right behind him and Goku tilts his head as Yamcha turns around and his face goes white as Goku says he isn't that strong and Goku could deal with him in his wrathful form. Even Tien agrees being one of the weaker fighters compared to the three. Goku gets back to the lookout as Kami asks where Piccolo is. Goku says that he escaped and Goku says it'll be a walk in the park. Goku continues training as all the fighters test their strength and as two beings appear, the evil King Piccolo and what seems his son. Everyone can sense his power as Piccolo isn't as strong as Junior, but Junior's strength is incredible in terms of strength. And another face is shown, General Tao Pai Pai, and Goku sees his strength is also increased, as the crane damns Tien and Chaozu and he will kill them for their betrayal, and the mysterious woman triggers Goku's foresight, seeing Goku remembers Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi isn't mad but she still enters the ring and defeats all of her foes. It goes Goku versus Chi-Chi, with Goku proposing to her. Then it's Tien versus Tao Pai Pai, which Tien beats him unconscious. Then we have Yamcha versus Chaozu and Yamcha wins. Then Krillin versus Piccolo Jr. And it's actually surprising. Krillin underestimates Piccolo and Piccolo fully suppressed can beat Krillin. King Piccolo laughs as he starts to cough. He doesn't have much life force energy left, since he put the rest into Piccolo Jr. My son will rule Earth and I will watch him before I pass. The Z fighters are blown away that such power is coming from a demon. Then we get Goku versus Tien, which happens as usual. Yamcha goes all out, but Junior is very strong. As usual, we have Goku versus Junior, which Goku overpowers Junior, but then they both take off their weighted clothing, which surprisingly, Junior's was much heavier and Goku's blown back as Junior starts a flurry of blows, catching Goku off guard. Goku shouts and creates a shockwave, sending him flying backwards. As Goku sees in his foresight a wave heading straight for him, it was the old King Piccolo. Then, in reality, Goku sees Piccolo Jr. heading straight for him. Goku stares at him and then disappears as a bright yellow aura engulfs him as Goku fires a wild Kamehameha and then powers back down. Junior is stunned and badly damaged as Piccolo sees no option but to turn big, but then Goku lands a thunderous blow straight into his gut. Once more, Junior is down for the count as the announcer starts to count down as King Piccolo is furious and fires a mouth beam towards Goku. Goku remembers this and turns around in time to swipe it away and then glare at him, making him fall back. Junior is out cold and Goku wins his second championship. Kami then appears telling King Piccolo to give up, and he damns it all, and tells Kami to burn in hell, as Kami is almost struck by an energy beam, but Goku swoops in and fires it right back at him, killing King Piccolo. Now, you'd think that Kami would die, but no. He gave most of his life force energy to Piccolo Jr., so therefore, it's Piccolo Jr. and Kami sharing the same life force energy. But, think of it this way. There was a three-way share of energy, but King Piccolo didn't have that much, where Jr. and Kami had basically all of it. So it doesn't hurt them much, but they can still feel a slight sting. Jr. gets up and asking where his father's gone, and Goku says that he's dead. He would have died sooner or later, but Piccolo says he is a fool for letting him live, and Goku says he would like to fight him someday, as Piccolo skates off. And the whole wedding arc happens as usual with Goku and Chi-Chi getting married. And that is it for the series. Or so you think. If this video gets 700 to 1000 likes, me and Damon will do a sequel series. So what did you guys think of this whole series? Do you want to see the next one? Well, you'll have to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.
In this world, his world.